Have you ever woken up at 3 a.m., heart pounding, staring into a darkness that feels heavier than the night itself? That moment when the world is silent, but your mind is screaming with thoughts you can't escape, regrets, fears, or a longing you can't name. You're not alone, and it's not just insomnia. This video dives deep into the psychological and spiritual reasons behind those haunting wake-up calls, especially for older adults, revealing what your body and soul are trying to tell you. Keep watching until the end to discover how to transform these sleepless nights into a powerful opportunity for healing and self-discovery. Because the truth waiting at 3 a.m. could change the way you live your days. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Let's have an honest conversation about what's happening when older adults, those in the twilight years of life, find themselves jolted awake at 3 a.m., staring into a darkness so profound it feels like the universe itself is holding its breath. The silence at that hour isn't just quiet. It's a presence, heavy and unrelenting, pressing against your chest. You lie there, eyes tracing invisible patterns on the ceiling, and the world feels impossibly still. Yet inside you, something is stirring. Something ancient, primal, and deeply human. Our bodies, you see, are not mere machines, despite the way modern medicine sometimes reduces them to cogs and circuits. They are biological symphonies, instruments sculpted by millions of years of evolution, attuned to the subtlest of cues, the rustle of a predator in the brush, the cry of a child in the night, the weight of unresolved conflict, or the quiet ache of existential dread. At 3 a.m., when the world falls silent and your defenses are stripped bare, those cues rise like whispers from the deep, demanding to be heard. For many older adults, these nocturnal awakenings are not merely the result of a disrupted circadian rhythm, though that's undeniably part of the equation. As we age, the pineal gland produces less melatonin, the hormone that ushers us into sleep's embrace. Meanwhile, cortisol, the stress hormone, begins its morning ascent earlier than it did in youth, nudging the brain toward wakefulness. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's internal clock, loses precision, its once crisp ticking now faltering like an old pocket watch. Add to that the physical realities of aging, a bladder that no longer holds as it once did, joints that ache in the cold, or the side effects of medications that older adults often take in greater numbers. Physiologically, the body is primed to wake at this hour. But that's only the scaffolding of the problem. The real weight lies deeper, in the crevices of the psyche and soul. In the stillness of 3 a.m., when the distractions of the day have dissolved and the mind is left alone with itself, the things you've kept at bay during waking hours begin to surface. Regrets, missed opportunities, unhealed wounds, and unspoken truths. They emerge like specters, uninvited but undeniable. A woman in her 70s once told me, her voice trembling with a mix of resignation and wonder, "The nights are heavier now. It's not just my body waking me up, it's my soul." And she was right. There's a spiritual dimension to these awakenings, a psychological reckoning that we rarely acknowledge in a world obsessed with quick fixes and surface solutions. This reckoning is not random. The mind attempts to integrate a lifetime's worth of experiences, to make sense of the sprawling, messy narrative that is your life. As we age, we don't merely slow down physically, we turn inward. We begin to review, to reflect, to wrestle with the choices we made and the paths we didn't take. Psychologists call this process life review, a term coined by gerontologist Robert Butler in the 1960s. It's a natural stage of aging, a kind of mental archaeology where we dig through the layers of our past, unearthing moments of joy, pain, and everything in between. But unlike the deliberate reflection we might undertake in therapy or journaling, the life review at 3 a.m. is unbidden. It doesn't respect your sleep schedule or your desire for peace. It arrives like a tide, pulling you into its depths. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your life as a novel, each day a sentence, each year a chapter. In youth, you're a feverish writer, scribbling forward with reckless abandon, rarely pausing to reread what you've written. Mistakes? You'll fix them later. Plot holes? There's time to resolve them. But as you age, the pen slows. Your hands tremble slightly, your vision blurs, and you begin to read backward. You flip through the pages, lingering on certain scenes, rereading dialogues you wish you'd rewritten. Some chapters fill you with warmth, moments of love, triumph, or courage. Others are harder to face. The betrayals you inflicted or endured, the losses you never fully grieved, the dreams you abandoned because life got in the way. At 3 a.m., your mind returns to those difficult chapters, the ones you've dog-eared but never resolved. And it's not just about guilt or regret. Sometimes it's longing, a yearning to do more, to be more, with the time you have left. I've spoken with countless older adults who struggle with these nocturnal awakenings, and they often assume it's just the inevitable decline of age. My body's breaking down, they'll say, or, I guess this is just what happens when you get old. But more often than not, it's not just the body. It's the weight of unprocessed emotions, anxiety about the future, fear of mortality, loneliness that cuts deeper in the quiet hours, or guilt over things left unsaid or undone. These are the emotions that can only be heard when the noise of the world fades away, when the television is off, the phone is silent, and the demands of daily life no longer drown them out. At 3 a.m., the subconscious seizes its moment, whispering truths you've avoided for years. Consider the story of a man in his late 60s I once worked with. He woke every night at 3 a.m., his heart racing, his mind flooded with memories of his estranged son. Decades earlier, harsh words had been exchanged, pride had hardened into silence, and now, with his son living halfway across the country, the man was haunted by what he hadn't said. I'm sorry. I love you. During the day, he kept busy, work, hobbies, errands, but at night, there was no escape. His subconscious was forcing him to confront the rift, to acknowledge the pain he'd buried. Another woman, in her 80s, described waking with a vague sense of unease, a feeling she couldn't name until we traced it back to the loss of her sister years earlier. She had never allowed herself to grieve fully, convinced she had to stay strong for her family. Now, in the quiet of the night, her grief was demanding its due. These stories are not exceptions. They're the rule. The 3 a.m. wake-up is a symptom, not the problem. The problem is what you're carrying, what you've pushed so far down that it only feels safe to emerge when the world is asleep. And here's where the tragedy deepens. We live in a culture that treats sleep as a mechanical process, something to be optimized with pills, gadgets, or better mattresses. Doctors prescribe Ambien or Trazodone. Advertisers hawk weighted blankets or white noise machines. And while these solutions may offer temporary relief, they're like putting a bandage on a broken bone. They don't address the root cause, because the root isn't in your mattress or your melatonin levels. It's in your heart, your mind, your soul. The real solution lies in answering the wake-up call, in facing the truths that surface at 3 a.m. But this is no small task. Confronting yourself is hard at any age, but it's especially daunting later in life, when the stakes feel higher, when mortality is no longer an abstract concept but a shadow that lingers at the edge of your vision. Your friends are starting to fade, some to illness, others to distance. Your body betrays you in subtle ways. The creak of your knees, the blur of fine print, the fatigue that lingers longer than it used to. And in this context, the questions that arise at 3 a.m. feel urgent. Did I live well? Did I love enough? What do I still need to make right? I'll never forget a man in his 80s who sat in my office, his hands folded tightly in his lap, tears streaming down his weathered face. I don't know why I'm crying, he said. I just wake up every night at 3 a.m., and I feel like I've missed something. The pain in his voice was raw, elemental. It wasn't just insomnia. It was a lifetime of unprocessed emotion, losses he hadn't mourned, apologies he hadn't offered, dreams he hadn't pursued. More than anything, it was a hunger for meaning, a desperate need to make sense of his life before the final curtain fell. People assume that after a certain age, psychological growth stops, that you're done becoming once your hair turns white or your children leave home. But that's a lie. The wrestling never ends. It often intensifies in the later years, when the distractions of career and family fall away, and you're left with the stark reality of who you are. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. So what can be done? The answer isn't simple, because the human heart is not simple. But it begins with courage. The courage to listen to what's waking you at 3 a.m. instead of numbing it with pills or distractions. Journaling can help, giving shape to the formless thoughts that haunt you. Therapy or counseling can provide a safe space to unpack the past. For some, spiritual practices, meditation, prayer, or contemplation, offer a way to find peace with the unresolved. And sometimes, it's about taking action. Writing that letter to your estranged child, apologizing to someone you wronged, or pursuing a dream you shelved decades ago. These steps don't guarantee unbroken sleep, but they lighten the load you carry into the night. There's a paradox here. The 3 a.m. wake-up is both a burden and a gift. It's a reminder that you're still alive, still growing, still capable of change. It's your psyche's way of saying, there's work to be done. There's meaning to be found. And while the silence of that hour can feel deafening, it's also an invitation to listen, to reflect, to become. So the next time you wake at 3 a.m., don't rush to curse the darkness. Instead, ask yourself, what is this moment trying to tell me? And then, with gentleness and bravery, begin to answer. Waking at 3 a.m., in that eerie, hushed hour when the world seems suspended in a timeless void, is far more than a mere interruption of slumber. It's a profound summons, a stirring from the depths of your soul that reverberates through the quiet darkness. It signifies that you're still vibrantly alive, sensitive enough to feel the sharp edges of discomfort, whether it manifests as anxiety, sorrow, or an indefinable restlessness. It's your psyche, in its relentless quest for wholeness, pushing you toward integration, toward reconciling the scattered fragments of your inner world, the unresolved emotions, and the unspoken truths that linger in the shadows. It's a testament that you still care deeply and passionately about your life's meaning, even when that caring comes wrapped in pain or uncertainty. These nocturnal awakenings, though often daunting, are not a punishment but a beacon of hope, an invitation to engage with the transformative work of self-discovery and healing. This phenomenon, sometimes called the witching hour or the hour of the wolf, is no accident. It occurs in a liminal space where the boundaries between conscious and unconscious blur, where the mind, free from the clamor of daily life, turns inward with unflinching clarity. Scientifically, these early morning wake-ups often align with a natural dip in the body's circadian rhythm, typically between 2 o'clock and 4 a.m., when core body temperature drops and sleep becomes lighter. This biological vulnerability can amplify psychological unrest, making buried fears, regrets, or unprocessed grief rise to the surface. The silence of the night acts like a magnifying glass, intensifying what's been suppressed during the day. Perhaps a strained relationship, a long-ignored aspiration, or a wound that's never fully healed. In this stillness, your soul demands to be acknowledged, urging you to confront what you've avoided in the hustle of waking hours. Yet, within this disruption lies an extraordinary promise. These 3 a.m. wake-ups are not meant to break you but to guide you toward growth. They are a call to lean into the discomfort rather than flee from it, to see the wakefulness as a sacred opportunity for introspection and change. When you find yourself jolted awake, heart pounding, or thought spiraling, pause and ask, what am I being asked to face? What truth have I sidestepped for too long? This is not a question to be answered with the analytical mind alone, but with the deeper wisdom of the heart, a listening that requires vulnerability and courage. It might reveal a need to forgive someone else or yourself, or to reclaim a part of your identity you've buried under years of obligation. It might point to a fear that's held you back or a dream that still flickers faintly within you. Whatever it is, these moments are a chance to begin the work of integration, to weave the disparate threads of your life into a richer, more authentic tapestry. The body, as the vessel of this soulful journey, plays an undeniable role in these nocturnal stirrings. As we age, sleep architecture changes. The brain produces less melatonin, the hormone that governs sleep-wake cycles, leading to more fragmented rest and frequent awakenings. Hormonal shifts, such as those in menopause or andropause, can disrupt sleep, as can chronic stress, pain, or even subtle changes in metabolism. For some, it's the physical discomfort of an aging body, stiff joints, a racing heart, or the nagging urge to visit the bathroom, that pulls them from slumber. But these challenges are not a life sentence to sleepless torment. Practical measures can help restore balance. Prioritizing exposure to natural daylight to anchor your circadian rhythm, engaging in regular physical activity to release pent-up energy, and adopting a nutrient-rich diet that supports rest, think whole grains, lean proteins, and foods high in magnesium or tryptophan. Avoiding stimulants like caffeine or alcohol in the evening and minimizing exposure to blue light from screens can also help recalibrate your body's internal clock. Still, these physical remedies, while essential, are only one piece of the puzzle. The body is the temple that houses the soul, and no amount of sleep hygiene can fully soothe the spirit in turmoil. The true alchemy of 3 a.m. lies in embracing the wakefulness as a portal to meaning. It's an invitation to ask the big questions. What remains unfinished in my life? What truth am I afraid to speak? What part of me is crying out for acknowledgement or release? This is where the psychological and spiritual work takes root, where you shift from merely surviving the discomfort to using it as a catalyst for transformation. To wake at this hour is to be granted a rare, unfiltered space to commune with your deepest self, to peel back the layers of denial or distraction and face what's real. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. The essence of life is not to evade suffering but to carry it with grace, to let it sculpt you into a more resilient, compassionate, and authentic version of yourself. These 3 a.m. awakenings are a perfect embodiment of that truth, a fleeting yet potent moment of vulnerability that tests your courage and resolve. They remind you that pain, when met with intention, can become a gateway to healing. To those who find themselves staring into the dark at this hour, resist the temptation to numb the experience with quick fixes. Don't automatically reach for the television, social media, or medication to drown out the unease. Instead, honor the moment as sacred. Pick up a journal and let your thoughts flow, unedited and raw, onto the page. Reflect on the emotions or memories that surface, asking what they're trying to teach you. If prayer or meditation resonates, use it to create a space for clarity and connection. Reach out to a trusted confidant, a friend, a therapist, a partner, and give voice to the truths you've kept locked inside, even if it's just a whisper to yourself in the dark. The silence of 3 a.m. can feel oppressive, even terrifying, but it also holds the potential for redemption. It's a crucible where you can confront the past, not as an unchangeable burden but as a narrative you can integrate and release. This is true at any stage of life, whether you're in your 20s, grappling with identity, your 50s, navigating transitions, or your 80s, reflecting on a long journey. The questions that wake you in the night are timeless. What have I left unresolved? What do I fear most? What do I still long to create or become? If you're brave enough to answer with honesty, you may uncover the seeds of a new chapter, one where peace becomes not just a distant hope but a tangible reality. This journey is not linear or swift. Healing unfolds in layers, often requiring patience and persistence. Each sleepless night is a chance to chip away at the walls you've built around your heart, to move closer to wholeness. Over time, you may notice the 3 a.m. wake-ups grow less frequent or less fraught. They may even transform into moments of quiet gratitude, where you meet yourself with compassion rather than dread. You may find that the darkness no longer feels like an enemy but a trusted companion, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of who you are. If this speaks to you, if you've lain awake night after night, wondering why the silence feels so heavy, you owe it to yourself to respond. Don't let these moments pass unheeded. Share this reflection with someone who might need it, a friend wrestling with their sleepless nights, a family member carrying unspoken burdens, or even a stranger whose path crosses yours. In naming and sharing this experience, you remind others, and yourself, that you're not alone. The 3 a.m. wake-up is not just a personal struggle but a universal human right, a testament to our shared hunger for meaning, connection, and peace. So revere it. Embrace it. Let it lead you through the darkness toward the light, one courageous step at a time. So, what have you learned from this journey into the meaning behind those 3 a.m. wake-ups? Maybe it's the realization that these moments are more than just sleepless nights. They're your mind and soul calling you to face something deeper. Perhaps it's the courage to start confronting those regrets, fears, or longings you've pushed aside. We'd love to hear from you. Comment below this video and share one thing you've learned today that you'll bring into practice in your life. Your story could inspire someone else. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights to help you live with purpose and peace.